now Mrs. Aργυρού from NOW's consultants of environmental planning and project development will present us the work titled Visualizing the Future of Aquaculture in the Greek Seas, a foresight exercise. Mrs. Αργυρού.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Iωάννα Αργυρού. I am a biologist ichthyologist, and I have been working in fisheries and aquaculture sector for 30 years. The title of the present work is Visualizing the Future of Aquaculture in Greek Seas, a foresight exercise. The work that I will present to you has an emphasis on the methodological part. It is a foresight exercise and tries to outline the future of aquaculture in our country. The aim of the work is to feature potential future developments of the aquaculture sector in the Greek seas. The sector is evolving in an environment with significant challenges that is rapidly changing, and the effort is to take advantage of the foresight approach in order to see what the future options of the sector in the Greek area can be. Aquaculture sector is of great interest for a number of reasons shown on the left part of the slide. A branch of the sustainable blue economy, a dynamic sector, a sector significantly contributing to fishery product market demand, a sector offering qualitative and hygienically safe products, a pillar for local development. The definition of foresight is one has been formulated since 2010. Essentially, it is a way to investigate future developments, to gain deep knowledge of what can happen and how this can shape, among other things, the sector we are interested in. Therefore, in an environment characterized by complexity and uncertainty, the tools of foresight can shape a triangle, which is presented here. Debating the future, thinking about the future, shaping about the future. We stand at debating the future, trying to formulate possible future situations. The methodological framework comes from planning and enables us to use foresight tools such as the scenarios. In the context of this work, we proposed two scenarios. We also created a narrative. In conclusion, foresight is a strategic approach to explore the future and map out a strategy within different future images. We apply this exercise in the Greek seas on the specific sector aquaculture and especially marine aquaculture, with the aim of delving into the sector. Marine aquaculture is very important for the Greek economy. We have been working on the specific sector aiming at sustainable, competitive, spatially balanced marine aquaculture with reduced conflicts and creation of synergies with other sectors. Regarding the methodological approach, first we investigate the external environment, the key drivers of change, so as to be able to see through the various developments. The key drivers are understood as important forces that change reality. We also explore the internal environment, current state of aquaculture in Greece, regional considerations, current spatial and legislative context. Based on this information of the external and internal environment, the foresight exercise is taking place, and we end up the prevailing scenario of aquaculture sector. On this slide, we can see the key driving forces of the external environment in a global level and in a national level. Concerning the global level, we mark climate change, market-based trends, dietary patterns. Concerning European level, we mark common fisheries policy, the Green Deal also. Concerning the internal environment, we elaborated a study of the aquaculture sector in Greece, a market-based analysis, strategic guidelines for the spatial development of aquaculture, and spatial development and smart specialization. In a third step, we structure and access alternative aquaculture scenarios. In the next slides, we can see step by step the issues we examine in the external and the internal environments. In the external environment, we mainly examine a wide range of policies that indirectly or directly approach the sector we are studying, is developing strongly, and is related to maritime strategy, coastal zone, habitats, and at the top of them is the Green Deal. Accordingly, we examine policies that have to do with the aquaculture sector itself. Also, the regulation that is referred to the common fisheries policy. A key point of the external decision environment is dietary patterns, intensifying efforts to meet global demand of food by 2050 are increasing. Due to EU fisheries restrictions, aquaculture can be a long-term solution. And correspondingly, technology today offers many opportunities for offshore farming. This is a new possibility that can be exploited and is of interest in the case of Greece. Technology in this field has been intensified. Research and innovation are very important. Besides, many problems are solved in the open sea, making an environmental decrease of the impacts of aquaculture or in synergies between different sectors that can coexist with aquaculture, for example, renewable energy sources. It can be seen here, the two figures from 1986 to 2018, the share of the different branches of internal waters and marine waters from which it appears that marine aquaculture prevails in terms of production compared to aquaculture from inland waters. So here in this slide, we look in depth at the specific sector. What are its characteristics, what kind of businesses, and others. We see here the spatial distribution of aquaculture, and this is a map coming from the Special Framework for Spatial Planning and Sustainable Aquaculture Development, which was issued in 2011 and which is under revision. This is a picture. Areas here in the coastal area or in the archipelago, which are shown as areas for exercising the activity here. We are also interested in the spatial part. The present work tries to emphasize toward this direction. Aquaculture sector is also very important, as other speakers said, and mainly maintains social and economic cohesion and ensures nutritional adequacy. We also explore a policy framework of the internal environment, national strategies, regional strategies, Law 4269 of 2014 for areas of organized development of aquaculture activities. And this is the concept of the foresight exercise. Through the research that has been carried out, the key drivers have been identified and are listed, or better, included in this figure. The two uncertainty axis model is used as key drivers of change. We chose the technology, which can rapidly change the image of the future. This model produces 4 distinct future scenarios. With this approach, the 4 scenarios are built. One axis is technology, you can see here, and the other axis is spatial dimension. So we have high technology penetration or low or medium technology penetration. We have also concentrated pattern of aquaculture development and the concentrated pattern of aquaculture development. From a preliminary qualitative assessment, we have a rejection of scenarios A and D as inconsistent. And we proceeded and further explored the scenario B and the scenario C. You can see here scenario B, spatially concentrated pattern and high penetration of technology. That means offshore, technology-intensive aquaculture, which promote this offshore prototype of aquaculture development. And you have in this axis, the spatial dimension, large aquaculture businesses, 4 to 5 unions in the Greek seas, and full integration of mature technology at all stages of the production, full automated. And of course, we have here major investors. What are the benefits? Sector's competitiveness, strengthening the country's leading position, market expansion, creating added value, and competitive in cost terms. This is scenario C, decentralized spatial pattern and medium-low technology penetration, labor-intensive, locally based aquaculture. This has limited potential for innovation, spatially scattered aquaculture model, and in this axis, spatial dimension, we have larger number of aquaculture units all over Greece, low or moderate technology penetration, large number through smaller and weaker businesses placed. This is less powerful, but it can play a complementary role for better utilization of marine resources. It is in harmony with the current pattern of development of the aquaculture sector, and it is competitive in terms of quality of the product. The evaluation takes place here. The criteria are derived from the key drivers from the spatial pattern, and the score is displayed. The rating is qualitative and has been derived from the knowledge of the authors and studies from the international literature. Scenario B is very efficient, very effective in the first criteria, and it has, while the scenario C shows poor performance in this criteria. And it has a good performance in local development, social and economic cohesion. You can see this diagram, and here are the results. Scenario B, better performance in the competitiveness and extroversion of the aquaculture sector, while scenario C has better performance in pursuing local and regional development objectives. Both scenarios contribute to aquaculture development, each one in its own way. They have complementarity, and our proposal is the exploitation of the combination of the two scenarios B and C. So, in conclusion, or at the end, we can see here the triangle, debating the future. We have the thinking and the shaping the future. So, what is the future of aquaculture in Greece? A political dilemma to be solved. A high-tech and competitive offshore model competing on lower cost, or a model or more dispersed identity-based model competing on traditional and qualitative products? A policy questions that needs to be negotiated in the context of revising the spatial framework for spatial planning and sustainable development in aquaculture. Based on the results, the foresight was very useful. It gave the ability to build plausible images of the aquaculture future in Greek seas. Thank you.
Any question? Okay.
I really liked your presentation. I have a question. Can both of these scenarios coexist in parallel?
Yes, they can coexist because one of the scenario with the concentrated partner is this scenario that already exists in Greece. But we can create other sites for offshore development of aquaculture activities and creating synergies with other sectors like renewable energy sources. And there is an interesting. The technology is developing and we can think about it for the near future. Because this spatial framework that is under revision, the last one was issued in 2011. Now we are so many years after. So if this will be revised and the results will be published in 2 or 3 years, let's say from now, then it will have an horizon for 10 years after. So we have to explore all these new possibilities.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aργυρού. Thank you also, all of you. There is? Okay, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Aργυρού, thank you very much for this very interesting presentation about the future of aquaculture in Greece and the scenarios that you presented. And I wonder how these scenarios can be a part of the policy that the government is going to adapt in the future.
This is the foresight exercise. We have analyzed the first phase, the debating the future, but there are also some other phases thinking about the future and shaping the future. We have done a preliminary analysis and we have a lot of thoughts under the table, but this is going to be explored through the revision of the spatial framework for aquaculture. So when we say thinking of the future, there was the triangle. The one corner is the debating, the other is the thinking. You have to do insights into the sector, to discuss with people, to see what exactly they want, what are the conflicts with the other sectors, are there environmental impacts, can we minimize them? And after all this thinking and exchange views or stakeholder engagement, you can shape the future through the policies. When you have the images, you can shape the future. You can shape it from now. You can shape through the policies to prepare them in advance. Okay.
I wonder, in case that it is selected, the scenario that we're gonna follow, we're gonna have big companies that they're gonna actually, and not the scattered scenarios. Is there enough, is there, regarding the marine spatial planning, areas that can serve these big companies of aquaculture?
Could you please repeat, are there
The scenario, because you presented some scenarios. One scenario is to have plenty small aquaculture companies.
There are a lot of them all over Greece.
Yes,
A lot of
or
them.
to have more concentrated, more bigger companies. So these larger companies.
There are large companies now. We have a dialogue. Never mind. There are large companies, but they don't have the ability to build larger farms because we don't have the plan. We don't have the spatial plan. We have to create in order to build, in order for investors to come to Greece, or investors or Greek investors.
And from your experience, do you think there are areas in Greece, in the marine environment of Greece, that they can serve these big investments?
Yes, we did a preliminary approach. We have found such an areas in some parts, in some parts of Greece. But okay, it was not the purpose of this of the present work. We have placed them on the map also.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you again. Thank you to you all. Finished?
Thank you very much for your questions. Yes, because I studied for the sector and for this work a lot of time. I invest. Yes, I put a lot of effort. So, thank you.